Hello, welcome to the GTM Loop. I'm Angie Milano, and this is
Holly Glowaty. So today we are talking about how to build go-to-market strategies that actually work, bringing you real stories, real tactics, and conversations that can help you sell it, keep it, or grow it.
all right. Well, I think the good thing to break down today and what we're planning on talking to everyone about is year-end planning. The year-end in review, if we want to call it the year-end in review.
Actually, I like that. It's called the year-end in review.
So it's December.
Yeah.
We are all working on all of our year-end decks.
Oh, yeah.
Lots of backloading, especially in selling and financial services. You know, you're closing all of your deals.
Oh, yeah.
In December. So I think all the really good teams have been gearing themselves up, talking about December the whole year.
Oh, yes.
And now it's here. So it's closing last minute deals, building last minute pipeline, and
honestly planning for next year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where we're at. So that's what we're going to break down.
I know. Well, okay. I say we take a look back first. I feel like that's a good way to go.
Place to start.
So I will ask you a question. Angie,
with my swirly mood today.
You guys, you're in for a treat. We're
on a roll.
We're on a roll today. I mean, Angie's wearing her black sheep sweater, so you know.
My real persona comes out.
It comes out. Okay, my question for you is, what changed this year?
So many things changed this year.
I feel like a lot did.
A lot changed this year. But the big one that I observed is inside being face-to-face again, events. Just think about all the things we went to.
I know. I think about all the things we didn't get to go to.
I know.
I was, Angie and I have been building a conference list that we'll share once it's done. But the amount of events that I have been having to put on this thing.
Yes.
It's crazy.
Yes. And there's one other thing that we were talking about before is the idea of creating sub-events tied to major events.
Actually,
that adds the complexity of the list.
It really does, because I feel like I went to so many more this year, like in a way that like ate into the actual conference even.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I think too, I didn't even think about this before, but the rising costs of major events, and I won't name any names, the rising cost of events is forcing people to get scrappy.
I agree.
And to make their budgets last, which means you're thinking about curated dinners.
Yeah.
All these different kinds of thought leadership events that are anchored to a major event without having to spend the money on the entry fee.
I think that makes a lot of sense. Like, I know you and I have both in our consulting practices and even with the GTM Loop have had the question of, can you create a curated dinner for us?
Yes.
I never had that before.
No.
Barely. Maybe it was like one thing we did as part of the strategy, or maybe you like had a dinner at a conference, but it was not like to this level.
No. And I think that the idea of doing a curated dinner, I did one around Finovate.
Yeah.
And basically the company was an AI company. And because that's become so obscure as well, we anchored it to curating the conversation and bringing in thought leaders that were focused in AI as a way to get the conversation rolling. And even though we made a list of topics for people to talk about, we actually didn't need it.
No.
This was just one long table. People got to know each other. And two things came out of it that I didn't know were going to happen before we ran it. One was the bankers basically told us we should do this every year and then test year over year of all the things we talk about. How many do we actually do?
That's interesting.
I think that's interesting. And the other one was the company that I did this with, they were presenting at Finovate, and everyone who was at the dinner went to their presentation advocating for them. They won Best in Show. Shout out to Krita. But basically, it's just thinking about how do you take these opportunities to create a more intimate setting so that your overall show goes better. And also you're using your spend effectively.
Well, and that's the thing. Again, if there's a million shows to go to,
yes,
and like you said, the costs are going, like costs are getting phenomenal if you are a small business.
Yes.
I'm sorry, if you're a startup, it's tough. You really have to pick and choose, or you just show up and you don't pay for the ticket.
Right.
Right. You just don't register.
And you just hang out.
As a person who ran a conference before, it gives you heartburn to do it, to see it, whatever. But at the same time, I don't know. I mean, you kind of have to accept it as fact if you're going to have, tickets that are multiple thousands of dollars.
Yes.
And, that's someone's 6 months of marketing budget sometimes,
Yeah.
Depending on how small they are. So it's really hard, I think, to be a full member of a conference that is big and expensive. So I am starting to see, as I'm building this list, lots of smaller events, really focused. Yeah, topics.
Either focused on the FI type or focused on the project or the outcome.
Yep.
So I went to a bunch of lending conferences this year, ton of credit union things.
Yeah.
That's the other thing that's changed. It hasn't really changed. It's just come to the surface.
It has, man.
Is the will, the want, and the ability to partner with credit unions.
Totally.
Everyone wants to talk about credit unions.
I know.
Which that wasn't the case before.
I love it.
I love it too.
And I'm seeing more credit unions get out there, which is exciting, I think.
And they're buying more fintech. They're being more innovative, I feel like.
Yep.
It's been fun to see it.
I agree.
That's where I came from. And it's fun to see it.
Well, and I think there's I think there's something fun about, like, they have to do what's right for their membership.
Yeah.
And so I like that idea that you get to lead with the value that you're bringing to a member. And I often think it actually helps people with their go-to-market strategy. When you know you have to say, what's the benefit to a member? It cuts out all the, we built it. Proprietary system. They're like, no, it's, you get to actually
that gives you agentic AI for You're like,
I know, exactly. So they actually, I find it actually helps people get to a stronger messaging place.
Yes.
A little earlier. I don't know.
Which is nice. I mean, I think about a lot of the solutions that I would see in the past that were centered around financial wellness.
Yeah.
All of the different, like, ancillary how do I want to say this? Like, the things that don't inherently always move the needle, or that a client would beat you up on to say, like, how do I make money implementing this?
Right.
In the credit union space, a lot of that stuff is baked in because they're mission driven.
Yes.
And so if you can drive an outcome for a member that helps to make their overall experience better, you're more likely to be able to get that implemented within a credit union, more so than, especially like on the community banking side, which is largely focused on small business or commercial. A lot of times companies struggle getting into more of a banking audience because that's just not their focus.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So for sure.
Lots of really good companies out there focusing in the wellness, I would say overall wellness space.
Yeah.
And I think they're finding an easier home in the credit union.
That is interesting to think about.
Yeah.
Okay. So rise of in-person,
yes,
rise in credit union focus.
Yes.
I think the other thing that's really changed, and this affects just not even our industry, is the way that online search has changed.
Oh, yes.
Because it really does change your entire strategy when, say, you've built a website that has like great SEO, and all of a sudden now that AI is so prevalent in search.
Yes.
We were looking at some stats as we were preparing for this, and it's like 50% of Google searches now have the Gemini AI summary at the top. And people are using Chat GPT to search for information, right? Like it's just so prevalent. So how do you take advantage of it?
Yeah. Or even things like Reddit.
True. Yeah.
And the thing I love about Reddit is that it is almost equivalent to like how social selling works.
Yeah.
Because it's peer based.
Yeah.
And so the idea of like the little Gemini thing, summary that you don't need to move forward and look at what the search result actually was. And then it's Reddit, peer-based, looking at what other people are saying, taking their feedback into the mix, and then AI in general.
Yeah.
How many times have you looked for something on GPT, or I go to Perplexity all the time, try to find a stat.
Yeah.
And then synthesize it into whatever hypothesis I want.
Well, and I find myself just like fact checking what I've hoped is correct facts if I search that way. Do you know what I mean?
Yes,
like,
absolutely.
Because we know that AI hallucinates.
Yes.
So it's actually, I have a couple friends who are professors, and they've had this issue where, people are just using AI to write papers. So now they're actually flipping it on its head. It's like, okay, go put this into the AI search of your choice, or, AI aid of your choice. And then I want you to tell me what's wrong with it.
Right.
And so it's a good place. It is something I suggest that if you are using it to help write content, because let's be real, it helps speed up so many things. Yeah. It really does. But approach it that way.
Yeah.
I think you have to come at it with more effort than what I've seen.
Yes.
Yeah, you're going to be creating,
just be a copy paste.
No, that just kills me. And you can tell. You can tell. Everyone can now. We know the tells.
We know. M-Gate, everyone.
Oh, I know, which kills me because I used to use them.
I love M-dashes.
Well, now I feel like I can't. I know they really are. They're a very nice tool. Yeah. I did also overuse them and incorrectly use them. And now I'm very aware of it. So I guess it was a little grammar.
Yeah. A little lesson for me. But actually, when the grammar's not perfect, that's another reason how like a person wrote it.
That kills my little English.
I know.
Like in literature loving heart, like that. Yes. Those were my classes in school. And I'm like, now I'm looking for people to be flawed. So
no. But you know what? It actually works really well for me because I am not a native English speaker.
That's true.
And sometimes I either pronounce things not right, or there's like little quirks about the way I write that I don't want to change because that's great. It makes perfect sense to me, by the way.
Yes.
I just like it.
I don't think
AI
is nonsensical by any means.
No, me to start writing very like Oxford English.
Oh, wow.
Can you imagine me like that?
Well, then I would be like, for it. I'd be like, Angie used ChatGPT for this.
That didn't naturally come out of that brain.
Oh my God. No, but I think the other thing, this is the piece. You and I talk a lot about social selling to our clients. Yes. I think it has become infinitely more important because AI has taken over search. It's hijacked everything that we've probably spent the last decade building years at least, doing all the SEO. But now, if you aren't producing video, blogs, getting your name in articles, if your brand, your name, whatever you're pushing isn't out there, it can't scrape for you.
No.
And you have to think about that. I know so many people who are like, I don't want to be an influencer, or I don't want to have to do all that. Well, then hire for it because you are behind.
Yes. Well, and I think it goes back to what we said about even like Reddit, where you're finding peer-based, the idea of being in person and going to events. This all goes together.
Yeah.
Because if you think about social selling, it's about building an audience, building a brand, putting yourself out there and having, I don't want to call it a shtick, but kind of. Yeah. Each one of us has what we're good at, and you're writing content that speaks to that.
Well, it's that, I mean, it's a very foundational, like, marketing truth.
Right.
That the more specific you are, the easier it is for people to find you. Yeah. I think that actually goes into something you and I were talking about, like what's kind of stayed the same.
Yes.
Tighter ICPs.
Oh my God, yes.
Be specific and don't be afraid to be specific about who you're selling to, because then they're going to find you. And then the people that maybe you hadn't thought about, or the people who are looking for something like you, but maybe like, I know they do. I need someone who does something like small business lending.
Yes.
With whatever asset you want to add on there, benefit, right? Because then they're like, I need something like that, but for my industry. Well, they'll still find you.
Right.
They'll still find you because they're looking for that thing. Mm-hmm. And then they know how to work with you. That's the other piece. How many times have you had a client who's like, people just don't know how to work with me?
They don't know how to work with you because they don't know you.
Exactly.
And they don't know.
And they can't picture it.
They can't picture like your voice. And I think that's part of building the brand.
Yeah.
Even though I do get like the idea where it feels off to be constantly putting stuff out there, putting yourself out there.
I agree.
But
tedious.
When you marry the really strong ICP plus who you are, it builds the expertise for you.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things I heard very loud and clear from founders this year was like, well, when I get on a call, people don't know who I am. Well, how would they?
No.
I mean, you're not Nike. Like, you know what I mean? You're not. And that's like not No, but it's just reality. So, and also if you're an AI company and you heard 50 AIs that week, how would they know who you are?
I know.
But if you're out there and you're talking about, what you carved out in the market that pertains to your company, how do you approach it? What's the skill set you bring in the table? What do you know? What have you done in the past? Then it builds like, oh, Holly knows X. Holly knows cards and really well.
Yeah.
She's an expert in that. I want to talk to her about that. And I know by reading her content what she's going to bring to the table.
Yep. But you know what else does? I always think this is really important. It shortens your sales cycle.
Oh,
because it gives you way better lead qualification.
Yes. Because they're qualifying you.
Exactly. So you don't have to qualify them. They know what you offer and they've asked for it.
Yes.
What more could you want? This is like the holy grail. We talk about this.
It's like a living one pager.
That's called inbound, friends.
Yeah. Which is the opposite of lead gen that we talked about a couple episodes.
I know. So
the goal is inbound.
The goal is inbound.
Always.
And I don't know about you guys, but I think it is way more fun to, I don't know, produce a podcast or
I love the podcast.
Post a little. It's so fun. And oh man, we'll get to this at the end of the episode. But no, but I think like there are so many more fun ways to get content out there now.
Yes.
And again, if it is not your jam to be on camera or to write something, there are so many contractors. There are people you could hire that will do this for you and create a really strong brand voice, get content out there and build this. So don't be afraid to ask for that help. You need it. It is, this is one of those other shifts I saw. So back to the previous one, but I think we've even touched on this in previous episodes where it's like, there's this shift in the idea of what marketing does.
Oh, yeah.
And always constantly trying to tie it to something else. And I believe I'm a metrics driven person.
Well, yeah. You don't have metrics. What did you do?
Exactly. But you have to give things some time. Like, anyways, that could be a whole other tangent.
Yes.
We don't want to make this a long episode. But what I'm saying is this idea of content creation and tying it into an overall marketing plan can really, really help you understand what is resonating, because people will start saying things back to you, or they'll say that they get you or they don't get you, or you will get more immediate. It might be more anecdotal feedback, but anecdotal feedback is still a data point.
It's still a storyline that you can talk about.
Exactly.
One of the things you brought up a couple minutes ago that I think is super interesting. I have a friend who is a demand gen marketer. She's really good at it. And
I think I know who you're talking about.
I think you might. One of the things that we talked about was some of the founders that she was working with just weren't comfortable being on camera.
Right. Yeah.
Or having a dialogue. And so what she would do is she would set up interviews. And she would just interview the person. And that way they were just talking to her. So easy. Like how easy is it to talk to your friend, even if it's your employee, but you're talking to them and you're having a one-on-one discussion, kind of like what we're doing right now, except now you're producing that into little clips about your product, or it feels like you're just getting a chance to explain what your product does. When the reality is you're just having a sit down. It takes that like fear away. So I thought that was a really good, interesting way to hire somebody without outsourcing your own brand or your own persona.
I like that a lot. That's smart. I like that a lot.
Okay. Can't take credit for that one. It was somebody else.
But still.
But I do love it.
You know what? You know what else works? Learning from experts.
It's true.
Hiring experts.
That's so true.
You can't know everything. So learn from experts.
And you shouldn't know everything.
We've kind of touched on these other things that you and I had discussed that we wanted to bring up that, what's still working. So we've talked about tighter ICPs, which leads to better lead qualification. I think that also when you have a tight ICP, some specific messaging, that also helps create clear use cases.
Yes.
And that's so helpful. I mean, it's all kind of the one, I think we've kind of talked about it, but I think those are universal truths. Nothing has changed.
No.
But what I do think has changed is there are more tools to make these things easier.
Oh, absolutely. So many.
Because, it all ties back to things like having great pipeline discipline, which I know is so hard. But I know Angie's been testing some new products. So in the future, we will have some things we want to
There's
you know,
really
road
cool stuff
test
out
them a bit.
there
Yes.
that I want to talk about. Maybe
Yeah.
not this episode, but
In the future.
there's some cool things that I've been tapping into that augment the work you have to do on your pipeline hygiene.
Because honestly, pipeline hygiene is important and it's tedious. God, how many times have I said tedious?
Tedious. I feel like, yes, well, I feel like a lot of these topics do feel tedious though.
I know.
Because it's methodical. Like
It is.
when you think about pipeline management,
Yep.
CRM, or even creating content, because it has to be constantly on and repeatable. You can't just take a month off. I read somebody that in my network wrote an article about what happens if you need to be away. Like, and you want to kind of like set your social media to run. Obviously, you can batch content and things like that. But her whole thing was it should still feel authentic. Even though this person in particular had surgery. So she was gone. She literally could not be on LinkedIn writing her little posts. Like that wasn't important at that moment.
Right.
But she set it up to where people didn't miss her because she was still a part of the conversation. And I think that part, like that tedious, methodical part
pays off.
Pays off. I feel like it pays off. I'm thinking about everything I've been doing in the last year. And how much time it used to take me maybe 6 months ago versus how much time it takes me now. I know exactly what I want to say.
Yeah, that's true.
Get my metrics, put my hypothesis together, and write that thing.
You're right. I was talking to a friend. I used to do sketch comedy. So I was talking to a friend who does that. And I go, I don't think I'm as funny as I used to be. And he and I were talking.
Well, I laugh all the time when I'm near you.
Cute. No, but like I'm always like, God, I used to be funnier, or like in like a smart way. You know what I mean? Not just like, ooh, quirky, but like, and I was like, God, I used to be able to like connect dots, but it's a practice.
Yes.
It's a discipline. And
that's true.
It's not just like a natural thing. You start to think about how could I connect those dots and make that funny. But I think it's the same thing whenever you're producing any kind of content, whether it's funny or not, you start to build like that would be really cool because this thing I heard last week, you start to train yourself to think in that way. And it's important. So I think it's everything with your pipeline discipline. When you get there and you get disciplined about the tedious things, you start to think, you know what, who's stuck in that phase? I wonder if I changed this about my process, if I could push them to the next level. And so initially it's not going to feel natural. And sometimes I feel like I go in waves where I'm like really good in discipline.
Me too.
And then I get distracted, especially being, small business owners and when everything's on your plate, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think those are always going to be important.
Yes.
Okay. I think those are important into the future as well.
Yes.
But what do we think's coming in the next year?
So much.
I think we touched on one thing in this one. I think there are going to be more tools that help us, especially salespeople, have easier processes, less unencumbered. But I think there's going to be a lot of like ugly ducklings at first.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, we've tested some things that you guys have never heard us talk about because this is going to be great. And then it sucked.
And then it was bad. And we were like, ew, if it takes me this long to try to figure this out, I'm not going to do it.
Exactly. So, but I do think there are things coming that will help us all with a sales process.
I think sales process, one of the things that I know is coming and I'm pumped about, we do it all the time anyway, is voice.
Oh, yeah.
And I know that like that sounds so weird for me to say that. One of the things that's coming is voice. Like voice has been here forever, but it's how we use it. Because how many times have you transcribed something to yourself and then turn it into content?
Oh, I love it.
That's awesome. And now platforms are having that built in. So whether it's training materials, whether it's your CRM that is changing and you're able to talk to it, I feel like that stuff is going to change the way we operate, especially for people like us, because we're busy.
We are. Yeah.
If I have time in the car, and I can dictate to my emails I want to write, and then all I do is send them, or my conversations I want to have, or my whatever I need to get done. Why would I waste that time if I don't have to?
I think being in the car is akin to like when people are like, I have the best ideas in the shower.
Oh, I always do.
Doing something else. And I'm constantly like, oh, I wish I could just like write something right now. But like, I know we both use plod pins.
Yes.
I will have it, like sometimes I know I'm going to be in the car for a while. I'll just like pin it to my lapel so I can just like hit this. And if I have an idea, it'll transcribe it for me.
Exactly.
Which is so nice.
Nice.
Because half the time I just can't sit down, or I need to like think it through. And then when I said something 7 times, 7 different ways, it'll summarize it for me.
Right.
Like that's what I was trying to say.
That's what I was trying to say, or synthesize it. Yeah. And if you think about that idea, like just think about that. Mm-hmm. The idea of doing stuff in the car, or you're getting your best ideas when you're kind of like not creating, but you're like, oh, this is a great thought. I want to do this as a poster. Yeah. You know what? I'm struggling with this one piece of messaging for this opportunity or this deal. It just comes to you when you're seeing something else.
Yeah.
Okay. If you take that and you marry that with creating or pipeline management.
Yeah.
Speaking to that, speaking messages, adding context in your CRM or whatever, using your voice. I think voice,
I think you're so dead on.
Voice, it's how we're going to use voice to do things that we haven't used it to do before.
I agree.
And I don't think that's going away.
No.
I'm ready for the day when I don't have to like use my hands at all.
I know. And I don't think it's lazy. And no. I just think some of us, like, I don't know anyone who doesn't need to quote, like, talk it through.
Oh, for sure.
Right? You always need to talk through an idea. Yeah. So anyways, I think that is going to, I 100% agree with you there. Okay. Thinking about the sales process, what do you think is going to change about that?
So the idea of long cycles.
I mean, aren't they long already?
They're long already. But here's the thing that I feel like is going to persist, and in a way I feel like it's going to get even harder.
Okay.
A lot of the messaging that I'm seeing out there, because it's an unstructured or new idea, it all sounds the same. And if you're the person that's buying said piece of technology that you don't 100% maybe understand,
right?
It's going to take you longer to weed through that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the messaging and positioning is going to get harder.
I agree.
To stand out, especially if it's nuanced.
Yeah, and I think you're almost going to have to get maybe a little more personalized.
A little more personalized. I think if you think about, like, we talked about social selling,
right?
What works well in social selling construct? It's video, it's voice, it's all of that. I think we're going to see a lot more sales revolve around being able to record maybe a voice note or a video note ahead of what you're going to say in a first time call.
It's not a bad idea. It's really not. Like, I do, I know people have their preferences. Like, I know people who hate voice notes.
Yeah.
And I love them. But I will do voice to text for everybody.
Yes.
Which same concept. Same work.
It actually saves you time.
It does. So I do voice to text, especially because I have a toddler. So I do a lot of voice to text.
Because your hands are trying.
I know. I'm just like,
pick him up.
Exactly. So voice to text is saving my life right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think the other thing, when you are in a sea of, let's just talk about it. It's like AI stablecoin.
Yes. That's all people want to talk about.
Like it, but to be fair, you talk to people at financial institutions, their boards have told them you need to figure out a strategy for stablecoin and AI.
Yes, absolutely. That's true.
Okay. So let's give people some ideas. What can set you apart? I think truly the hardest thing for people to wrap their heads around is, how do I adopt this?
Yes.
So
like a practical adoption.
A really practical adoption. What makes sense for, I don't know, a community bank with a certain asset size that's focused on retail, not commercial, right? Or, something like, give really specific, help them picture it. That is the whole point of any sales and marketing that you're doing. They have to be able to picture themselves working with you.
Yes.
So spell it out.
And just do the pre-work a little deeper.
Yeah.
It'll
save you time down the road if you do it.
Well, because then if you find similar use cases, you can just reuse a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
But the idea of doing research is so much easier now.
It is.
I mean, I don't know if I remember this when I used to have to read like 10Ks to figure out priorities, and I wanted to like throw myself out the window because
What? There's such fun documents.
So fun. But now you don't have to do that. You could actually aggregate that information, get a ton of information about your prospect.
You can, yeah.
But you can get in the weeds of things that actually matter more.
Yeah.
You know what a person does every single day within the organization. Figure out what's going to help them their day to day. Like you said, tie it to their line of business or who their clients are. What are their clients screaming about the most? I always like to ask people, like, what do you worry about? What keeps you up at night?
Yeah.
You find out what makes them kind of flinch. What are they afraid of?
Exactly. And I think
go from there.
And that's the thing. You're there to solve a problem, right?
Yeah.
Always are.
Always. I feel like we always talk about that in every episode.
We always get to it because it is still the thing that's hardest sometimes. Especially, I think sometimes when you're very proud of the product you built and how you built it, it's really hard not to put that in your messaging. And it's really hard not to lead with that. So it's just, it bears repeating, right?
Yeah.
You've got to talk about their problem first. Then they're going to get excited about how you built it and why it's so genius, right? Like, so you gotta give a little before you get to be like, okay, here's how we did it.
Here's how we did it. And here's why I can help you solve it. Because I still hear a lot of times people will say to me like, well, our product is great. We just thought people would buy it. It's like, so did everybody else. You build something is like, this is complete crap. I don't want anybody to buy it.
The Field of Dreams did people a big disservice.
If you build it, they will come. Is that what it is?
Yeah, it is. Just everyone that I can do that. No. No one has the ghosts of relatives coming to play Be Small with you.
Oh God. If my relative ghost would come up, oh no.
Well, then I'd be explaining what the heck I do to them.
Right. Oh boy, no.
Okay. All right. We digress as per usual. Okay. Let's wrap it with some hard truths.
Yes.
We talked about things. I mean, I feel like we've been pretty tactical. This will be some things that bear repeating. Right? Okay. Do you want me to kick it off for you?
Yeah, you
okay.
You're like riled up. Let's go.
I will never, ever, ever believe in B2B selling that spatter shot.
Oh, totally.
Will work. Ever. Just stop it. Don't ask me for it. Don't ask Angie for it.
No, we're not doing it. The other big thing that always bears repeating, and I always laugh at it every single time I think about our visceral reaction, don't hard code the things that you need for marketing. What am I talking about? Your website. It's 2026 almost. Don't do that.
Do not.
That one is still, I see it all the time.
No. You're going to give Angie a minute.
Oh my goodness.
That should be our next piece of merch. Don't hard code your website. Okay, I'll make it.
All right. Perfect. The merch.
We said it at the start of this, that because it's a trend, but I think it is more important than ever that you show up in person.
Yes.
I don't care if you don't like it. If you founded a company, you need to be prepared to show up so people know who you are and that you're not building vaporware.
Yes. And that they get to know you as a person, because that's easier then for them to visualize what it would be like to work with you and how you're going to stand by the product that you're giving them.
Yes. That is super important.
Either they know you or they don't, but do they feel like you're somebody that they could call up and you're going to be like, yeah, I'm going to help you.
Exactly.
That only happens in person. There is no other way to get around that.
I agree. Even if you feel you don't have the money, guess what? If you don't invest money in your company, no one else will.
Exactly.
You sometimes just have to eat the cost of travel.
And you just take it from something else. Spend less money on maybe, I don't know, swag.
Well, yeah.
Sometimes I see like an exorbitant amount of swag that doesn't move the needle. Spend something like really nice instead of a ton of money on a bunch of things, and then put that money towards an in-person or a product, like a launch kickoff in person.
Yeah, I agree.
And then the other one I always want to talk about, and this one came up for me a ton this year, big logos and big Rolodex introductions do not a pipeline and a strategy make.
Mhm.
They just don't. So if you think about how are you building your growth pipeline, especially as we're all thinking about 2026 and next year, don't do that.
Yeah.
You don't need to sell to two gigantic logos and that's your whole strategy.
No.
If that doesn't work, you will kill your entire year.
Yeah, especially if they're not your target. Like,
Right.
I get the idea, like, ooh, if I have a big logo, people are gonna understand we're legit, like we're serious.
Right.
But also, if you're going for like mid to small size FIs, guess what? They're probably more concerned. Do you work with my like obscure core or digital front end, or can you can you work with my process? It's not the same.
No.
You know? And so
And
I agree with that.
that. They'll even tell you that. If you say, oh, I've been working with who am I going to pick on? City. I've been working with City. They're like, City's a great brand, but that's not even in the same ballpark.
That's like saying, cool, you work with elephants. I'm a horse. You know? I just
They're the same. What are you talking about?
Yeah, totally. Big animals, 4 legs, tail, you know? Like I kind of want to end it there.
Yeah, I think we should end it there. Like, we're
yeah.
very punchy. We've been drinking lots of coffee and it's cold here.
Yes, it is. But so that's kind of our year-end wrap-up, you guys. We're really excited to see what 2026 brings.
Yes, I am. I think it's going to be great.
I think what we're excited for is in 2026, you are going to start to see us ramp up in terms of guests.
Yes.
So we're going to be bringing other people's stories. You know, we kicked this off with just us because clearly we can talk.
Yes. And we can also take our own advice, which I feel like people need to get to know us a little bit.
That's true.
Well, I mean, some people already know us, but
yes.
Ones that don't, like, why should they listen to us? And if you don't bring in other guests right at the beginning.
Yeah.
Someone.
So we have an awesome lineup of guests that like are going to bring so many great stories, pieces of advice, tactics, things that have worked for them. So we're very pumped for this. We will hopefully be doing that with more frequency.
Yes.
And you guys are going to start to see the rollout of the GTM Loop and what we're doing for Midwest fintech.
That's right.
The US in particular. So we are pretty excited about the year ahead.
And I think the merch.
Oh, and the merch. Check out the merch, you guys.
So much fun. Building like funny, weird things that are different than like, here's my notebook with my logo on it.
No. Go check out the merch.
Exactly.
It's good stuff. All right, you guys. Have a great year end. Good luck with your final sprints.
And close some deals. There's
close some deals. People, you got this.
Well, I know by the time people see this, they will not have 3 weeks left.
But you got a little bit of time.
You got time. Let's close it strong. Looking forward to next year.
Awesome. All right, gang. See you on the next one.
Champagne to do like a cheers. Oh, bummer.
High five.
All right.